A lot of people think trades are a dead end, like you hit a ceiling once you get licensed and that's the end of the road. But what if I told you an electrician went from wiring outlets to building a $5 million business in just a couple years? No investor money, no viral content, no paid ads, just smart moves and sweat equity. This is a real story and it's packed with lessons anyone in the trades or tech can learn from. Today, we're going to break down exactly how he did it. The 6 moves that took him from a journeyman electrician to the owner of the high-profit, fast-scaling company. Let's dive in. First, he niched down early. Most electricians say yes to everything. Rewires, panel swaps, breaker boxes, whatever pays the bills and keeps the roof over their heads. But this guy didn't. From day one, he picked a lane. Smart systems, EV charger installs, low voltage automation. That was it. No general electrician marketing. He branded himself as a tech integrator, not a handyman with wires. And it worked. Big time. Here's why. Property managers and commercial developers were begging for electricians who actually understood smart tech, access control, energy monitoring, connected lighting. Most electricians didn't want to touch that stuff. Too technical, too niche. They just wanted to stick to what normally works and what most people are familiar with. And you know what? That's a good game plan too. But these days, you need to be exceptionally good at one thing and stand out. That is what Josh did. So he became the go-to. EV charger installs alone landed him jobs with fleet operators, apartment complexes, and local governments. Recurring work, higher margins, less competitions. In his first year, over 60% of his revenue came from jobs nobody else was bidding on. Think about that. While everyone else fought over scraps, he built a lane of his own. And because he owned that lane, he charged more, worked smarter, and built authority faster. That's how you win in the trades. You stop being a generalist. You stop doing everything for everyone. You find the one gap in the market that nobody wants to touch and you become the best at it. Because in the race to the bottom, the only way out is positioning. Double down on what makes you different. That's how you build a business that people chase, not just one that scrapes by. Josh charged premium prices. Once he carved out that niche, he did something most trade people are terrified to do. He charged premium prices, not just a little higher. We're talking 30 to 50% above the market average. And people paid it. Here's the thing, he wasn't selling just another install. He was selling a tech-forward service experience. Clean vans, sharp branding, predictable scheduling, post-install support. Clients weren't hiring an electrician, they were hiring peace of mind. See, this is the difference between being a businessman and an entrepreneur. Businessmen simply sell products or services that people need, but entrepreneur take it all step further. And because he was in a specialized niche, the comparison shopping went out the window kinda. There simply weren't that many other offerings, people who offer the same skill set. But charging premium prices also let him do something most small trade businesses never get to do. He hired better. He paid them better. He reinvested in better tools, training, and systems. That elevated the whole operation. This flipped the flywheel. Higher prices meant higher margins. Higher margins meant he could scale faster. And scaling faster meant he could land bigger clients, which justified even higher prices. You can't grow a business on razor-thin margins. You have to price for the company you want to become, not the one you are today. Next one is he didn't stay in the field. This is where most trades people get stuck. They build a business that depends on them showing up to every job. They're wearing the tools, driving the van, chasing the invoices. That's not a business, that's a job with overhead. He got out of the field early. After year 1, he stopped swinging tools, not because he didn't love the work, but because he understood that being on the tools was holding him back. Instead, he focused on hiring and training. He brought on 2 apprentices and 1 experienced lead tech. His time went into sales, systems, and strategy. He was building a business that could run without him. This is a hard mindset shift. You go from getting paid to do the work to getting paid to build the machine that does the work. But that's the only way to grow beyond what your own 2 hands can produce. This is exactly the same advice I gave my own husband, who runs a power washing business. He missed out on more customers and potential customers because he was a one-man show. So we talked and decided that if you want the business to scale, you need to hire and train more people. After a lot of convincing, he finally bit the bullet, hired, and tripled his business very quickly. quickly. This is exactly what Josh did. By year 3, he hadn't touched a wire in 24 months. Yet his company was running 5 crews, doing contracts, and had booked over $1 million in annual revenue. If you are serious about building wealth in the trades, you have to fire yourself from the tools sooner than you think. Next thing he did was build a brand, not a business card. So most small businesses have a logo, a truck, and some business cards, but that's not a brand. A brand is the story people tell about you when you are not in the room. He built a brand from the look of the vans to the tone of his invoices. Everything was intentional. It was clean, modern, trustworthy. His website didn't look like it was built in 1998. It was fast, clear, and built to convert. His team wore uniforms. Every van was wrapped. They used professional scheduling software that sent automated reminders. The little stuff made a big impression. And when he walked into property management offices or city procurement meetings, he didn't show up with the flyer. He brought a proposal that looked like it came from a tech firm. He talked about uptime, data, and support. That branding made clients feel like they were dealing with a company, not just a contractor. That's how he won commercial clients, even when he was still a small team. People buy confidence, and his brand exuded. In year 2, he landed a 6-figure contract with a local transportation authority. Not because he was the cheapest, but because he looked like the most reliable. That's the power of a brand. Another thing he did was systemized everything. Most contractors run their business like a to-do list in their head. He ran his like a franchise. Everything was systemized. Scheduling, quoting, onboarding, follow-ups. He didn't just wing it every day. He built SOPs, standard operating procedures, for every key process. The quoting process was templated, the material orders were tracked with inventory software, new hires got a training checklist, even his customer onboarding emails were automated. This is what let him scale without chaos. When you're doing 5 jobs a week, you can get away with texting your crew instructions in the morning, but when you're running 20 projects across 4 cities, you need real systems, and he didn't over-engineer it. Most of his systems lived in Google Drive, Jobber, and Slack. Very simple but repeatable. That's the key. Systems do 2 things. They make your business more efficient and they make it more valuable. If you ever want to sell or step back, you need a company that runs like a machine, not a personally. So by year 4, he had an operations manager running the day-to-day. He was spending more time on strategy and partnerships, less time chasing parts at Home Depot. The business didn't just grow, it matured. Another thing he did is implemented recurring revenue. This is where he pulled away from the pack. Most trades businesses, they're stuck in the roller coaster, kind of the hamster wheel, as I'd like to call it, feast or famine, the up and down cycle. Jobs come in, money come in. Jobs slow down, panic sets in. He broke that cycle by adding recurring revenue. He started offering service contracts to commercial clients. Monthly checkups, preventative maintenance, software updates for smart building systems. He wasn't just installing systems, he was managing them. That created predictable cash flow. Even in slow months, the business was bringing in revenue from contracts. It also made clients stickier. Once someone's paying you monthly to manage their tech infrastructure, they're not going to shop around for the next job. You're already their guy. It also positioned him as a long-term partner, not a one-time vendor. That opened doors to bigger projects because clients saw him as part of their infrastructure, not just a guy with a truck. By year 5, over 35% of his revenue was recurring. That's what let him invest ahead of growth. Hire early, buy vans before they need them, play offense instead of defense. That's how you build a real business in the trades, one that doesn't just survive but scales. So let's zoom out. He niched down early, charged premium prices, got off the tools fast, built a brand that inspired trust, systematized like a franchise, and added recurring revenue that smoothed out the chaos. That's a good blueprint right there, and it works. No viral TikToks, no investors, just strategy, discipline, and execution. So if you're in the trades and you're tired of being on a treadmill, there's a better way, but it starts with thinking like a business owner, not just a technician in your business, because the future of the trades isn't just about who can work the hardest. If you like what you're hearing, subscribe to my channel, drop questions in the comments. Let's build smarter. See you in the next video.